You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog Liberty Podcast. This is episode number 394 of East Central's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrill, joined by executive video producer, audio engineer, Sebastian Aborde superfan, Mr. Zach Furchin.
Always got love for Seabass. He's a bit of a punk. I like it. I'm digging.
I like the later version of Seabass more than I do Newman Haas Seabass.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I was on the. I was raised on the IRL side of things, so I remember more that. Yeah, Seabass that I got to see drive.
Forrest Plank is here in the co-host chair. Mr. Bones is running late, or you've had him.
That's unfortunate.
You've sent him off the road. I don't know which happened, but you're here and he's not. So you got the co-host seat. Welcome. Let's see. Looking around the room, it's our race night. So we've got the McCown twins. The older brother and the younger brother, Mike and Blake. Blake's got the mic, so he gets to talk.
Yeah. How we doing?
We're great. And then Nick Vance is here, all the way from, I don't know, the Garden State. What city do you want to say you're from?
I'm from New York City.
You're from New York City.
We can call it.
I don't know.
Jersey
The
now.
New York people might fight you on that. That's stolen valor now.
You know what?
You live west of the river.
I've seen his
Just
Strava data, and a lot of his runs or a lot of his bike rides are around Manhattan. So
Oh, good. Like Kramer,
Oh.
he's coming through. We're just now doing introductions. Have a seat. He's gonna pee before we can introduce him. I can see why you guys are pissed, he says.
2 minutes.
No,
There was another word in there.
here's the fun thing. I don't even know what exactly he's talking about. There's a list of things that could have been the problem.
Are we keeping a tracker on that?
Yeah,
Yes.
you need to check the flow. It's a pit stop in there. He texted me and said there's a wreck on I-69, so I'm going to take I-70 today.
Oh,
Pray for me.
that was his first mistake.
So-
man.
that's the drama that he's fighting.
I mean, the drive from Indianapolis-ish to here is nothing but NDOT failure. So it's a laundry list.
Yeah. Today's show, our plan, this is going to be the race night show. We're going to talk about the Indy 500. Bones went to his first one. Nick flies in every year from New York City, and he's got a cool connection with a race team. Mike works the race. Blake is going to be a fan this time. Forrest, you've got your family seats that they've had since, I think, Ralph DePalma won.
Yep, something like that.
Um,
But I only have 2 years seniority, so
I've told that story a lot.
sad. Mr. Bones didn't even get a glass. He's just going to
Went straight to the bottle.
Going
straight out
to
of
the source.
the rare bottle.
All right.
He's-
That drive was terrible.
He's going to tell us how things went. Mike is very confused. Mike, meet Mr. Bones.
I'll get better soon.
Get your
No, you won't.
Just go take a cigarette break and you'll be all right. What happened, man? Where did the interstate hurt you?
Like, immediately after you get off 3 lanes down the 2, semis want to pass each other.
Yeah.
And they don't look in the rearview mirror to see 10 miles of traffic behind them.
So you did 53 miles an hour.
It's their road too.
From 3 lanes all the way to almost Knightstown.
At least the road was smooth.
No, it wasn't.
That part is somewhat smooth.
He's just talking about my normal drive every day.
This show is about our lives in rural Indiana, here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you, other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you'll always learn something new. Bones, you weren't here for it, but we did a Patreon. Who do we have to say thank you to and for their $50 or more a month contribution for their shout out at the beginning of the episode?
We had Jonathan Phillips at Wetzel Ford over in Richmond, Indiana. We got Blake Reese over there at Varsity Outfitters.
What's Blake do?
Blake makes the teams here look good. They embroider stuff. We're at your Boss Hog Liberty patch there.
Where's your Boss Hog shirt tonight?
It's soaking wet. Did you not notice it rained today?
It was quite moist this morning.
Couldn't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did your maid not open the blind for you this morning?
I don't know
Man.
this guy, but I like him a lot.
Man,
It's
the gloves are off.
Forrest is getting typecast. Remember, we're promoting our sponsors, gentlemen.
Why'd you ask the question then? We got Thomas Oaks over there at Walnut Ridge RV. And we got the Moral Monument Cleaning. They
Yes.
don't clean dead people. They just clean their headstones.
That's right. In case you have a family member you want to look after, they can
And
join us
then
and get taken
Pops
care of.
Recycle. We'll make your old Schwinn new again.
There you go. You can refab it or rehab it or put you in a new one. Good job. You need another. You need to top that off, or you gonna be
No,
okay?
we're good.
Need a smoke break now?
Worst.
Bones has also hasn't quit drinking. He's quit smoking in the last month, one vice at a time. How'd the Preakness go for you?
We won money.
We did win money.
Yes. I cleared $130.
But you gave us a hot.
You gave
tip.
us a bad bet.
Yeah.
You told us to bet on the ninth place
Because
horse.
you know why? Because you want to have me on a podcast on Wednesday, and I can't do any handicapping. It's like you want me to handicap the race coming up on Saturday. I can't. I need more time.
The race is Sunday this time,
Yeah.
man.
I want to beat the fuck out of you, Forrest.
It is
Hey, at least
7:37.
you did get the bookends.
You owe us some Hail Marys. All right, this is the preview, the 500 preview show. Nick Vance, you're the one that the crowd doesn't know who the hell you are. You're wearing all the stuff that says Elite IndyCar. That is a Facebook group that you are an admin of.
That's right.
And it's also a race sponsor this year.
Second year in a row, and it's actually so yes, Lead IndyCar. We're a fan group on Facebook. Started in 2013. Wanted to be kind of a different kind of a community online for race fans to come together, share their passion, and do so in a good environment.
How many people?
So we are on track to hit 13,000 members probably by the end of the year. When I joined in 2019, we had about 6,000. So
I was in
huge.
2020.
Yeah.
You joined the group in 2020?
Yep.
So Nick's an admin. I met you in 2021 at Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Been buddies ever since. Got to visit you in Manhattan once on a soaking wet day, much like Bones' experience today.
Yes.
Ophelia hit New York City, and I got to go visit Bones' workplace in a 6-story apartment.
Townhouse. Yeah.
Townhouse. Yeah, it was a very nice place outside of the Met.
That's right.
Essentially in New York City. So tell us the relationship Elite IndyCar has with Don Cusick and Brian Reinbold this year.
Yeah. So, Don joined the group 2 years back, was immediately very involved. He would send us boxes of, Cusick Motorsports gear to give away. And we kind of talked with him and his team, expressed some interest in being involved in some capacity in the Indianapolis 500. Put it to the group after some early talks with Don last year, and we initially set out to raise about $10,000 to get on one of the cars, and we were overwhelmed by the positive response and actually raised $20,000 and got on the side view mirrors of both cars. That's something we were very gratefully able to repeat this year. So we will be on the 23 and the 24 cars side view mirrors.
I mean, it wasn't just like a struggle this year. It sold out instantly.
It was
like
amazing.
within a day, y'all had the 20 grand this time.
And, I shout out to the rest of the guys here, Adam Schrack, George Panay, Frank Santorowski, and Kurt Winkleman. But Adam was doing that graphic, the little, status.
It looked like you're raising money to pay for, pay for the surgery.
I think at one point it just wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it to update because it just shot through the roof.
It was just
so
done
quick.
immediately.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get a 4.6's diecast.
So yeah, they have all kinds of cool giveaways.
Yeah, that's right. We gave away over $20,000 in racing merchandise and memorabilia last year. We raise money through the sale of elite gear, shirts, hats, flags. You have a nice one flying over your camper. Much appreciated.
We do.
Dig the love.
We show that off at the races.
But yeah,
makes it easy to find for people to find the camper.
Yeah, that's for sure. That and that Spain flag. Boom, easy to spot. Yeah, so we do giveaways every week. We do a fantasy Indy league every year. We pay out every week the podium, and not insignificant amounts. And at the end of the year, pretty large purse for the top three finishers.
It's like $1,000 too. I mean, or higher. It's healthy.
It's very healthy.
I've never sniffed any payback, but I do participate. I think I'm about 13th or 14th right now in the league.
Yeah, it's my annual donation. I am just terrible at all things fantasy IndyCar. Terrible.
We have a league as well as a podcast.
I'm doing spectacular.
Yes, you are.
DFL?
Well, I'll explain it to you. Bones only heard half the instructions. He heard buy low and sell high, so he's been buying the cheapest drivers all year, trying to get a big budget for the end. He started to turn, but you're what, in 38th place?
32nd?
30. Oh, he's up to 32nd.
I'm in the race.
You made some room up at you made big moves at the Sanzio Grand Prix.
I did.
Dale Coyne driver helped you out.
I did very well the first year, and then I think Jeremiah changed my password, and I've not been in since.
You sound like every other boon that plays in the
Yep.
league. After
7 different sign-ons.
They can't get
He
in.
turned 60 this
You couldn't you like sign in with Google, I think, or something?
You could. Now it's Grid Rival.
No,
It's-
yes.
it's
Yeah,
different.
put a
They
password
messed
in
with
there.
me last year whenever it was still on the IndyCar app, and there's that whole sign-in change. And oh man,
Yeah.
I think one week I ran a completely different league. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody deals with the same technology.
Some
Sometimes
are
you,
just smarter than others.
sometimes you just get a bad attenuator and you got to work it out. You two kids okay?
Yeah. He's trying to talk smack about the Red Sox being on.
And the Mets.
You guys have got the remote
Yeah,
over there. You
Betsy
pick it.
Mills would be upset that
You
we're
get
not
the-
watching the Fever game.
You can, one of y'all can dial up the Fever game, but I put on baseball because it was the one sport happening at 6:30 when I got here. So y'all raised 20 grand in a hurry. You going to go like full side pod sponsorship next year? The pole sitting car is empty, or mostly empty. You could.
Yeah, I think we're a little late to the punch on that one. A little missed opportunity there. We'll get there next year. No, yeah, I think there will be some pretty exciting things in the years to come. Looking forward to be able to share those with you all and the amazing members over at Elite IndyCar. Big things.
All right.
I've got one question though. If you were to get a side pod, do you have a livery in your brain? If you could do an Elite IndyCar livery,
So it's
Do you know Janae? I remember just a picture
No.
of her. I think
What would a side pod cost?
for the 500.
I think you're looking every bit of 4 to 500,000 is what it would cost. I don't think we're in any danger of raising that much money. That would be fantastic. But no, to answer your question there, Zach, we in addition to having just amazing members all around, we have some very, very talented artists in the group. Our logo that is on the flag that you use is a takeoff of the wheel and wing, but that was designed by one of our members, Sergio. So yeah, we have some creative people. We'd probably get some input on that.
whip
But
something up.
ultimately, if I could tell you anything about getting on the cars the last 2 years, when it comes to a team, there are quite a few people with opinions on how things are to be. So you will notice that our names are in fact on the cars, but it is not our logo by any means, because that did not clear the smell test with the marketing folks.
the wing and wheel was awful close to the wing and wheel, right?
It's let's be honest, it is. But we haven't gotten a cease and desist from 16th and Georgetown just yet.
I know some people. If you ever start messing with you, Jeremiah.
Listen, when Nick gets me drug into IMS court over flying that flag, I'm looking forward to my jury trial. All right, so that's the big thing. Is I wanted to make it known that you guys are on Jack Harvey's car, and Ryan Hunter-Reay's car.
That's right.
Those are the two you're there with.
Locked in the field.
But you ride or die with Alexander Rossi.
That is correct.
All right. Forrest, sold out grandstand.
Yeah.
That happened this week. You if you want to go to the race, you have to go secondary market, or you need to go buy a ticket for the infield.
Yep. Go sit on the grassy knoll.
There's nothing wrong with scalping. That's kind of a pastime tradition as well.
It's a time-honored tradition in Indianapolis.
But it's not as fun anymore since everything is, you have all the secondary sites. It's not as fun as walking up and down Georgetown trying to buy tickets or sell tickets.
Well, it beats the StubHub fees too. My gosh.
Yeah.
It costs half as much as a ticket.
So I'm in turn 3 this time. That's my traditional spot. Zach, you're out off of the exit of turn 4.
Short shoot.
Short shoot. That's right. You're in the north. You're in the north vista.
Yep.
You're not Jay Stan. Bones, you're going to watch from your couch.
No.
You're just not doing it at all.
No, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're going to keep the tradition and listen to it on the radio.
You're going to listen to it on radio. That's
Yes.
fair.
Don't watch it at 5:00.
Yes.
Forrest, you're going to be in
Stand A.
in Stand A, which is built for when Gaston Chevrolet ran the race.
Yeah.
In the family seats.
Yep.
Does your maid and gardener go with you?
No, I don't have that many tickets.
If he brought one staff member, he'd need that whole row.
As Rossi would say, people.
No.
His section has concierge.
Okay.
It's raining. They hold the umbrella.
You know, they
for
sell.
me.
There are sections of the stands where they sell Perrier.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Horse section.
Not in my section.
Cheers for the friend.
No, that's boss, right?
Mike, you'll watch the race from
The entrance of the pits. I'm the very first photographer for the 38th year in a row.
You're the first photographer.
Yep. So if something hits the wall in 4, it slides to me.
It comes to you.
I'm
what-
at the attendant.
Right. How's that the first photographer?
There's nobody to kind of.
It's a circle, Mike. There's no beginning and there's no end.
And I am the first photographer at Pivot.
All right. Blake, you've got a good view of your father from your seats this year.
Yeah, Mike was nice enough to hook me up with C-stand tickets this year. First time sitting there. Usually outside of turn 1, wasn't able to quite squeeze that this year. So we're going with C-stand about halfway up.
There you go. So C-stand is basically right across from your dad at the entrance to pit road on the start finish line.
Yeah.
Not much of a view of the. You got to have a video board to see what's going on like the Victory Lane area, the opening ceremonies, all that jazz.
We'll get a nice view of Mike McCown though, so I think that's worth the price of admission.
What fire suit is Mike going to be in this year?
I think he has just a plain gray that he sweats through about 45 minutes before pre-race starts.
Can you fit in your old Newman Haas one? Because it looked pretty cool to see you down there looking like Mario
I could fit
Andretti.
in my Newman Haas. I couldn't fit in the other 2 or 3. But what Blake doesn't know is the reason he's in C-stand is if something happens, he has to run all the way down C-stand, all the way around through the tunnel and come back and get my disc and take it to the darkroom.
Oh, I thought he was going to revive you medically.
I kind of thought that's the direction you're going
I thought
there
you were
too.
worried about your health. You're worried about the shot.
He only does compressions.
I don't know how much running I'm going to be doing on race day.
Are you?
You'd be surprised.
It's a party weekend for you, Blake. You have no official responsibility. It's the first time in a few years.
Yeah, last year I went with Mr. and Mrs. Mark Morris, and we love going with them, but I think this year it's me, my sister, my girlfriend, and Dad's girlfriend. So I think we might enjoy the race from a different lens than I ever have this year. I'm still going to be very aware of the race. However, I've made that a known fact.
Nick, last year you shared with me that you had you tied one on the night before. You're a camper, but you're a Coke Lot camper. Zach and I are laid back retirement club people in Lot 6. You are a Coke Lot camper.
That's correct.
I'm still in search of a pass to Lot 6. I have a camper now.
Well, you gotta.
It's a 10-foot long camper that you can't fit anything in there. He proud of it though, real proud.
What are you towing it with?
'87
LeBaron.
The LeBaron, right? Of course.
I was going to use the Fiero, but I didn't get it.
I'm not sure. I bet those have pretty low tongue weight given the engine's out back. What about the Maserati
Maserati will be in the Memorial Day parade,
with the camper?
not with the
I'm disappointed.
So, first time this has been a sold out race since 2016, as far as the grandstands go. When's the last time there was a race that wasn't on local TV? Because it's on Fox 59 again. Everybody plays this game of, is it going to be on TV? And everybody expects that it's going to be on TV. And they go, no, it's not sold out. It's not going to be on television. Last year it was on TV because it rained. We had a few years where it was on TV because of COVID. There was a year it was sold out, so it wasn't on.
Yeah.
In the last decade, have there been like 3 races that haven't been broadcast on local TV? I'm always at the race, so I can't really answer the question.
I'll imagine most people know this, right? But for those who don't, in Indianapolis, they black out the race, which I can only imagine if you're not able to attend, being from Indianapolis, how absolutely frustrating that has to be.
That's why everyone grew up listening to the race,
Listening,
though.
yeah.
You grew up listening to
I've
the race?
never watched the race at race time. It's always you turn on the radio and listened.
Which is part of why the radio commentary is so legendary.
Yes.
Because those turn announcers are poets, and the work they do is codified in the local memory as to how you experience the race. Right?
Handing it off from turn to turn.
I heard Joseph Newgarden is going for one of those jobs.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
He was trying a Sunday.
Up in turn 3, if starting from 33rd ain't going to work out for him.
Yeah, starting 32nd or 33rd. You've transitioned us right into the qualifying weekend review. Good job,
Appreciate it.
Gold Star.
Yeah,
Sports information officer over there.
I think we're 4 years into this. I read the notes.
You're getting there. Bones, it was your first time heading out to the track for any on-track activities.
Any.
What was it? Did it meet your expectations? You had a couple of passes to get in.
I didn't have much expectations to begin with.
Okay.
So, yes, it met them and exceeded.
What'd you think?
I had a blast. I had a good time. I appreciate the offer and the tickets from Jeremiah over there. He's not an asshole like everyone seems he is.
Well, I mean, it's because this podcast is sponsor of lap 33, turn 3 of the race. That's where those tickets came from.
Oh, okay. So I should thank Dakota.
I mean, whoever leads that lap is the one you're going to think. And I can assure you it won't be Will Power or Joseph Newgarden now.
I'm not positive on that.
I'm quite certain.
We could have a catastrophe and those two be leading.
Okay. All right. Maybe on a pit strategy. So what'd you think? You got to be out there. We had you up high in the seats that on race day only Forrest Plank could afford.
Penthouse.
Yes.
No, I couldn't.
Well, if you give
Remember, a 2-year seniority means I don't get face value.
No, it was a blast. It definitely exceeded expectations, and I'll probably go back next year
Did you understand the format as to what was happening?
a little bit.
Because you were there for Sunday, which was
Sunday.
pole day and bump day.
Yes.
I've been there 42 years and I didn't understand it.
I think, you know what, though?
There was a couple boos. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Why is he doing this?
I think that the current format is the least complicated format in like the last 15 years. Because there's sometimes it was like back in the day when it was 1 through 11 on this day and 11 through 22, like trying to explain that to people was super bizarre. And this is essentially Saturday's a little wonky, but Sunday is like the second and third rounds of road course qualifying. Fast 12, fast 6.
Yeah, but I still didn't understand Del Coin.
No.
So in bumping, you had 2 cars that were team cars trying to both make the race. And to my eye, it was Marina's VK was the slowest speed that was in the race, and then the other coin car was going to go out and try to bump him out. I thought it was Jacob Abel, and I thought, well, I guess they think they have more speed with VK, where he thinks he can pass one or two of the other cars, so that they get both cars in the race. If VK hadn't run, I thought, well, they're going to send a car home, and they don't want to send.
They even mentioned that on the broadcast that they thought maybe that's what they were doing.
Yeah, that was the assumption I had. Otherwise, yeah. But then VK went out and ran a mile an hour slower, and everybody thinks, well, God damn, you look stupid. And then Abel came out and ran another mile an hour slower. So
Yeah.
they just kept bleeding speed. Nick, this is your first time getting to a qualifying weekend.
That's right.
You've always been there for the race melee. Was it what you expected? Was it the intensity, the fun?
It was everything and then some. Wow. Just what an amazing experience and what a great day to be there to see the things that we got to witness. It was history. Absolutely incredible.
What did you think of the crowd?
The crowd was impressive.
Because I've been there for some qualifying days that weren't all that hot. And we were basically start finish line in the paddock, and as far down as you look down towards turn 1, there were people, and then you look back towards turn 4, and there were people. Yeah. And I heard that they were up. There's the biggest whole day crowd or qualifying weekend they've had since 2016 as well.
I wouldn't be shocked.
So it felt solid. And I know I was lined up with people trying to get in every day this weekend.
Yeah, we walked into Jeremiah threw a fit because we went in to go to the track that day, and the line to get in the track, and it was like it's kind of a single file-ish line. It was like 50 to 75 yards long to get in. It hadn't been. It was the most kind of interesting thing, bizarre. I don't know if it'd be the right word. It felt much busier for qualifications weekend all weekend than it did for the GP the weekend before. Part of that might have been the timing of the day, although Sunday was a lot like race day was for the GP until it was a late start.
I threw my fit because everybody lined up in the wrong spot.
Yeah, well,
the line was not where it was supposed to be. I was like, I'm just going to go back to where we're supposed to line up.
How was a Friday morning trying to get the campers in?
Elbows out, man.
It was
elbows out.
It wasn't 500 chaos, but there was track activity that day, so that might be a little different.
Zach was 10 minutes late. That ruined everything.
It took us a good bit to get there ourselves Friday morning.
My boss waited in line at about 10:30 or so for an hour and gave up and went home.
It took us every bit of like 35-ish minutes to get to lot 2 from 16th. It was just a long line of cars, and trying to find you was thankfully very easy with the assistance of your Spain and Elite IndyCar flag. The moment we turned off that street there to get into lot 2, it's boom.
Yeah,
I started laughing. I turned to my wife like, "Well, found Jeremiah right there, 100 yards away."
Newgarden wasn't the only jogger because when I went in Saturday morning, Zach ran by me and didn't see me.
Yeah, I ran every day. I didn't run in the track. I might do that carb day. Someday I'll flash the Barnes badge and I'll run into the track and run around in the infield.
So as far as the on-track activity goes, Prema, the brand new IndyCar team, on the pole for the race with Robert Schwartzman, brand new team, rookie driver, guy's never done an oval before. I can only deduct that the reason that they did this is because our friend of the show, Kyle Robbins, Newcastle native, is their lead machinist, and I know for a fact he was making parts for that race car on Saturday morning that they bolted on Fast Friday, and instantly they found speed they hadn't found all month long. So congratulations to Prema and to Kyle and the team.
Everyone has brought up rookie driver, rookie team, how incredible it is they're able to pull this off. But what a lot of people forget is this is a road course car, guys, sitting on the pole for the Indy 500. This is not an Indy only car. They broke this down from the car they ran a week ago at the GP, slapped some oval wings on it, and went out and kicked everyone's ass.
Yeah, they did a hell of a job. So that was fun. That was a surprise. Potentially the reason why they were able to get to the pole was that all the Penske's fell apart. Maybe. In the fast 12.
They didn't really fall apart.
I mean,
they were bondoed together.
Like together. Yeah.
Well, it's even more impressive though with what they did. Not to give a shout out to another show while I'm on yours, but I attended the live cast of Off Track with Hinch and Rossi yesterday, and they had a surprise guest, Mr. Robert Schwartzman, and Will Buxton filled in for Alexander Rossi, who's off doing a sponsorship appearance. But he asked, what did they do between sessions, between runs? Because they have access to everyone's information, what they're doing with wing angle, tire pressures, etc. So we did nothing. We changed nothing. Everything was fine. So I said, do nothing. Not chasing the setup, not doing anything, not shooting themselves in the foot.
Just go.
Just went out there and kicked ass.
And that's the feedback I got from folks on him, is that he just gets in the car and goes.
Cool
Doesn't
character.
complain, just runs it.
How much of it is because with him being new to ovals and new particularly to IMS, that he's just so naive that
Doesn't
he's
know any
like,
better.
the hell with it.
Well,
Just hadn't hit anything
pedal
hard
down.
yet.
Well, that's one thing we talked about in the stands is like there is a thing where some rookies, especially rookies that have like real experience, like he's a what F3 champion, I think, or something. He's not like a new race car driver, obviously, but a lot of like rookies come in and they obliterate people initially. And it's like they don't know any better. I brought Robert Wickens as a good example. He sat on pole in his very first race in IndyCar and would have won it had Rossi not punted him.
Sorry.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. But so some of those guys do come in, they do really well, and then eventually I think they get mired in the whole chasing the setup, instead of just kind of. And the driver I always think of if somebody just gets in the car and drives is Juan Pablo Montoya. They talk about he just doesn't care. He just, it is what it is. Give me the car, I'll drive it.
It is what it is.
And yeah, you get that mentality. And so yeah, I'm curious about that. He just doesn't. He gave a spectacular interview. I think it was at the track where he just like, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm just going to get in the car and go drive. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever. And it was so naive and so upbeat and so happy. I'm like, he's just in it. Whatever he does, he does. Whatever he does, he doesn't do. Whatever. He's good with it.
So he says that now, but wait until Sunday morning when he's coming down. He's got a tunnel full of people.
And
he has Sato next to him.
Sato and Pato. He's got two of the most aggressive drivers to his right. He even says
will
like
not lead the first class.
You know what? I don't think he.
No,
cares.
I would just
hope
let
he makes it
Sato
out of
go.
turn one.
Going into turn one, I'm letting Sato go.
He was on.
I'm not losing the race on lap front one.
Yeah,
with
he
Sato
even
right
said
beside
they're
me.
like, "What's your strategy?" He's like, "I don't know what the strategy is yet, but I might just let those two by me and cruise for a bit." He's smart. He's obviously smart. And Prem is obviously a very smart team. Like they've got a lot of experience too. So
Ryan Briscoe.
yeah, I saw him around quite a bit. So you see, he's what their competition director, I think, or something.
So we were watching from the paddock box. I saw somebody in yellow running down pit road, and I'm like, that's weird. And I couldn't quite tell what it was. I just kind of blurted it out to those people around us, and then realized later that it was an official with the rear attenuator from Will Power's car running back to tech. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And then like 10 minutes later, we looked down and we saw that Will Power's car was going back through Gasoline Alley. I'm like, something's wrong. And then you had to go to Twitter to figure out what the hell was going on, because the track wasn't really interested in telling us that the Penske cars have been disqualified.
They announced at
They
some
sure
point.
did over the scanner.
They announced
At that
at some
moment.
point, yeah. Within a few minutes, they said both those cars have been pulled out of line due to a rules infraction and not passing pre-qualifications tech. But yeah, they didn't go into detail.
I had pointed out to you about 5 minutes before they rolled the cars back behind the wall that I was like, why is Tim Cedric walking up to the north end right now on pit road? What's going on there?
It didn't make any sense.
They were
Until it did.
on the broadcast. They only said that the Penske cars had withdrawn their qualifying position. So I just turned it on and they said they'd withdrawn. I was like, what the hell? They'd not want to risk it after Scotty Mack crashed this morning. They're okay with taking the fourth row.
I don't know. It brought a lot of cheers though when that announcement came across. It's like, damn.
Little spitefulness. So Penske bought the track in 2019. Just
Yeah,
before
but-
COVID.
yeah.
In 2019 into 2020, he acquired the track. And there were a lot of people at the time that said, hey, how's this going to work? Your team, you own the series, you own the team, you own the engine company, you own the track. And the response was, well, we'll just have to wait and see. And by the way, Penske's winning everything now. So it's not like he's going to start winning. He's already winning all the races. It's not a big deal. We got into 2024 and there was this push to pass controversy where Joseph Newgarden was caught using a button, wound up abandoning a win, went to Pato Award. Scott McLaughlin got a penalty. I think Will Power got a nominal penalty because he had it installed on the car, but he didn't actually use the button. A lot of people labeled them as cheaters, and the paddock was kind of upset over it for a period of time. A lot of fans would too. Here we are again in 2024, and that led to Tim Cindric and I think one of the other lead strategists being suspended off of both the Newgarden and Power Cars both had their strategists suspended. Got into this race, and then this attenuator thing blows up on Sunday where they have modified the safety part. Penske says that they did it for aesthetics so that people say it was a competitive advantage. That story is continuing to develop. The larger issue to me is people are starting to lose trust in the entire process when one guy owns all of the things.
Well, I think that's why Doug Bowles came out as strict as he did to try to help that.
So they said, hey, we're going to knock them back. Instead of making them go 11th and 12th, they're going to go all the way back to 32nd and 33rd, Newgarden and Power this time. I thought, all right, once you've decided that you had two illegal cars that made the race, and they said, well, they were probably legal Saturday. Doug Bowles, that man is more frazzled than I've ever seen him. Ever.
My gosh.
He's the president of the racetrack. 3 months ago, they said, hey, you're also going to be in charge of IndyCar Tool. Cool. So Doug has to do both jobs now. So now he has to be the company man that hands up penalties against the team that his boss owns.
Writes the paycheck.
So you've got to find, you got to keep all the sponsors happy. Plus you have to keep your boss happy. He said in a press conference, he had no sleep the night before. They decided to bump them all to the back.
Hadn't showered.
Yeah. Which I don't
Which
think
is
anybody
tough.
needed that
I don't
detail.
know.
I don't know why he felt compelled.
He's probably
to say
still
that.
wearing the same blue suit.
He changed his suit. He did change his. I heard the interview.
He had that one in his office.
Yeah.
How long does a shower take? Like a minute and a half, and he could have at least freshened up.
You know what though? I realized they took the showers out of the.
Out of the garages?
Yes, it's just extra urine.
Oh, we just talked about that last week.
I know because we joked.
Did you check
about
all of them?
No, but the ones I checked one because I'm not gonna walk around like looking around the corners. But the one I did
That's
check.
the kind of research project we expect out of you.
The one I did check was just an extra set of urinals. If it was toilet stalls, I might have poked my head around again for a different one. But no, it's like urinals.
Yeah, that could have been an awkward.
Especially like that is one of the most awkward restrooms to use because you feel like you're in the way if you go in the wrong time because it's you and a bunch of guys who are at work. But yeah,
me and Stingray.
Because I joked about getting my little shower caddy, my towel when I'm camping, walking in with my bronze badge, and walking in the gasoline alley, taking a shower, and then walking out.
I mean, yeah. What's the rule against that?
If you shower in there, I think you have to sing back home again in Indiana
While you're showering.
while you're showering. Yeah,
That's the required length of the shower.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
the prescribed length.
I bet
of the
the
shower.
ecology people would be standing outside just laughing.
I can promise you that there is a shower in the admin building as well.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt there is somewhere.
I have seen it. So
have you used it?
no, I didn't use it whenever I was with you.
So here's my contention. Penske's won 20 Indy 500s. He's won countless championships. At what point do you say, okay, I'm a steward. I'm going to make sure that my legacy is the speedway is good, the track is good. And he says, I'm done with Penske racing as an entrant in the 500. And he says, okay, I got an IMSA team, I got a NASCAR team, whatever. But you use it as a vehicle to say, hey, let's get some new younger owners to take over the 2, 3, and the 12 cars. You're 80 whatever years old. Doesn't that solve the problem? If he graciously says, let's move on, and 20 Indy 500 wins will never be caught.
Some would
that's
say
not-
19.
But that's not the competitive nature of a Roger Penske.
Sure. But once you buy the track, you've moved. I mean, the Holmans, when they called him up, it was, hey, I want to have a talk with you about stewardship and who's going to take care of this place and who's going to go forward. He's already had to back out of sitting on the pit box, being a part of the competitive side of it, the appearance of being race team focused. He's not running around wearing Team Penske stuff anymore. He's wearing IMS stuff. So his heart is obviously on the Speedway guy now. He also happens to own a race car. And I think if I'm working for one of those race teams, I don't blame the team if they were looking for competitive advantage. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Like your job is to go find an edge, push the boundaries, and to innovate. That's motorsports. And sometimes you break the rules.
Well,
I
the
don't
old
blame
adage
them
is
for
if you're
that.
not cheating, you're not trying.
I don't blame them for that whatsoever.
They just want to go fast.
But if you work for the race team that's owned by the guy that when you do get caught, because you're owned by the team that's owned by the series, they have to cut you off at the knees and give you a penalty that's even worse than they would have given to somebody else. So if it was Tim Cindric racing, okay, sure, this sucks. Whatever. You're starting 12th. Nobody cares. Because it's Roger Penske's team. Justin Newgarden starting 32nd.
Well, I think it's because it's Roger Penske's team, and this is the second year in a row that you've had a really high-profile scandal surrounding their cars.
Yeah. I'm curious as to what extent he would need to, like, they all operate out of one property in Charlotte. The IMSA team and the IndyCar team operate out of the same building, I believe, in the same shop. They're not, I don't think they intermingle a bunch, but they operate kind of together. So, like, to what extent can he even divest it without just...
He's got the charters.
Without
you can divest the charters.
At that point, Penske Racing just ceases to exist. He's not handing off the team to anybody. He's selling off some paper, and the team's evaporating. I bet he would have a real hard time taking something he's put that much time and effort into and just letting it disappear. If there's if he's going to step out, I would think he'd just step out of racing, like in terms of owning race teams, that he would just be IndyCar or whatever.
You could set somebody up with a shop in Charlotte and say, hey, here's the people that are assigned to the team. They go with it. Here's the chassis. Here's the charters. Here's the contract for Will Power and Joseph Newgarden. And here's the contract for David Malukas and Scott McLaughlin. Go.
Who wants that pressure?
Well, would this same thing still be said? Like, let's in theory, he sells it to Tim Cindric. If the same thing, if they get a controversy in 2 years, is they're going to say, well, Tim Cindric was his guy. That's his guy. Like, I would think that there'd have to be a certain amount of the organization, which would also have to be cut out to say, these aren't Roger Penske's people, because there's still the potential view of favoritism, even if, and this is a guy, by the way, whose integrity is like kind of unquestionable. He is the factory operation for a Chevy IndyCar team, a Ford Cup team, and a Porsche IMSA team at the same time. And at one point, he makes the Chevy engines. He owns the company that makes Chevy engines, and he was also making the Ford motors as well. And I think back in the day, he was making Dodge motors. So I don't know if there's any way, actually, unless you literally make the team disappear, for there to be enough separation for people to be happy and for them to not believe that there's some collusion going on with the league treating the team differently. Because it's still going to be Penske Racing.
I mean, look, there's obviously a huge conflict of interest there to be a team owner and the steward of the series and the motor and the speedway. But
the Holman family, Tony George, they had Vision Racing. They had Ed Carpenter Racing.
Yep.
They were there too. They won races, but they weren't the top end. They weren't winning back-to-back Indy 500s and one of the two teams that's competing for championships. I don't know.
At the end of the day, though, I know everyone will have their opinions on this, especially in light of the recent scandals. But the day that there isn't a Team Penske entering into the Indianapolis 500 IndyCar series in general, I think that's a sad day.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Well,
I'm curious to see what they do with it. My biggest thing is, like, the team does what the team does, and I could totally believe, if you look at the attenuator, that they did it for visual, because it cleans
100%.
So it could be a non-performance.
Penske primary.
But I am very curious as to, it's become pretty obvious that they've been running this part for at least a year. It's on the winter in the museum. I have pictures on my phone of it being on the car, rolling through Gasoline Alley last year, and I bet
there's a documentary that ran yesterday on Fox that showed
shows
the
it
car
on there
with that on it on the grid in the documentary. It
was on the car when I went to the White House. So I mean, even Trump saw it. He didn't point it out. But
he has the best eyes.
Yeah, he has the best eyes ever. So I am really curious as to these cars went through tech 2, 3, 4 times a weekend. Nobody saw it or nobody noticed it. And I really want to know who did see it. I don't believe for 1 second that Chip Ganassi saw that and understood anything that was going on.
I think Chip saw them with grinding wheels and said they can't do that.
Well, they were already at that point.
They were out there.
At that point, they'd already been called out on it. I heard a thing that Rocket saw it on one of the cars, and I don't know if he saw it. And Rocket, Kevin Rocket Blanche is the head of IndyCar Tech Inspection, and somebody's like, "Hey, that's not legal." And at that point, I think they sent that car on out. That might have been Will Powers, and then they Newgarden's came through with the same part, and they said, "Wait a minute, we have a problem here."
Once Newgarden's car came back through, somebody had a Twitter video where they were just recording tech and
Yeah.
put it out. And there's about a 6-minute video that was put out, and you could see about a minute 20 in, Rocket walks straight back to the car, looks at it, and goes, "Oh yeah." And you can see him turn to the car chief, and he literally, the car chief's getting out, and he starts calling his boss, telling him, "Hey, come down here."
Yeah.
And the team is very confused as to what the hell is wrong. They didn't know.
It's. I mean, the video. There's a video. I guess it was on the broadcast of like Newgarden and Alex Palou sitting there, and they're like chuckling because I think they're like a lot of people are trying to kind of make Joseph out to be evil because he stepped in it in his handling of the push to pass fiasco last year, but I don't think he had anything to do with this. But they're watching and they're both like, "What is this?" Like because they're not allowed to work on the car in that way after it's been inspected to go on the line. So like they broke a rule when they were doing that, but they had grinding wheels and I think like a Burns-O-Matic torch.
Oh yeah,
taking it to it was
for God and everyone to see, cameras and all.
It looked like he was on pit lane. So at this point, he's out of tech and is rolled out to the pit lane.
How high is the step on that blend line that they filled in?
It's a fraction.
Maybe 1/16 of an inch.
I mean, honestly,
I'd be surprised if it's even that.
Is it any different from painting the sponsors on rather than having stickers? Or
no. That's why I believe it could very much be a visual thing, and people understand how Penske is. Penske redefined how teams operated in terms of visuals and appearance. And if you look at the picture, like you can see on a normal car, it's just a seam where two pieces overlap. Like it's where it's a crash structure, and they just took that and smoothed it out. And there's just a dark transition where that is. But it makes the attenuator look pretty smooth because it turns into one continuous piece of carbon coming off the back of the car instead of this kind of chunky thing. It's not. There's no airflow off the back. I'm not an aero guy, but I guess some of the engineers from other teams said, yeah, that's not an advantage. And if any of them said that's not an advantage, it probably isn't an advantage.
So I'll ask a question to you guys real quick. Is ignoring that maybe this one particular issue, is it time for Penske to say, okay, I'm going to get out of owning race cars in IndyCar? Or it is what it is, and we're okay with it? We'll go with you, Nick, and work our way around and we'll move on.
It is what it is. I don't really see a benefit in him stepping down. And as I previously said, with the history of the team and the success of the track, it would be a shame to see him go away.
Blake?
Yeah, I mean,
some young owner like you could come along and own an IndyCar team.
I just bought my first car, not a race car, but so new into the car ownership world. I've worn the
92 Dodge Intrepid.
No, sir. I've worn the IMS hat as an employee, and so I see it kind of differently. There wasn't a better place to work in the entire world at age 19 than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, especially with the history of my family's working there. And I think that, I mean, there, like you said, no benefit to Roger stepping down, I don't think. I think he conducts with class, even though some actions have been questionable and they have gotten caught for some stuff, but it is motorsport. You try to find your way around things. And I think it was, if anything, a visual effect. And he had a brand new painted coat on everything when everybody came back in 2021. So I sat there and parked cars in the infield, and he was telling the guy that was in charge of me to get him in a straighter line. So, I mean, it's a lot is visuals, and he wants the place looking right. And if its cars don't look right, why is he out there?
Yep. Mike?
I don't think there is a series without Roger Penske. I think he has brought, like Blake said, a visual aspect to it. I mean, when everybody else was wearing Wranglers, he had Hugo Boss. There are some things that he is always going to be criticized for. I don't think this was as egregious as what it's been made out to be. I did think the push to pass was, but I don't really this instance. And I think if we don't have the genius of Roger Penske, the sport doesn't grow.
Yeah. And my contention is that it's not that Roger has 3 cars, that Roger has 33 cars in race at that point. And and his influence on all of them at that point. But Forrest,
I think it is what it is. The unfortunate part is, all of us are casual fans, and we're all part of this giant party that he's helped make amazing over the last few years. And as the host of the party, somebody just threw a turd in the punch bowl for the second year in a row. And that's the unfortunate thing, because it's bringing a black eye to it that it doesn't deserve. But everyone talks about the aesthetics. Anyone who's been to the Speedway the last 10 years, you go back every single year and you don't think the place can look any better, but you come back in the next year like, damn, it does.
yeah, more improvements. Bones,
Couple questions. As being the most casual of casual fans around here in this room right now, do we have a racetrack without Roger Penske? Do we think the Holman still can own it?
I mean, I don't think so. Penske, I would not question him continuing to own the track or the series. It would be the race team to me.
Just a question.
If the Holmans hadn't sold it to Penske, they probably would have sold it to another party. Liberty Media, which holds F1, is probably where it would have gone.
It would have been corporation owned.
Yeah. So fully on board with the Penske entertainment ownership of the Speedway. That's not what I was questioning.
Okay. Well, no, I'm not questioning either. It was just a general question for me. And why we're talking about Roger, I might as well bring it up.
Yeah.
Is there anybody out there to buy Penske Racing? Is my question though. Like do we think anybody in the weeds would want to buy a racing team right now?
No, but maybe Disney. I mean, it would be that kind of a corporation that would have to come in and take it.
It's a multi-billion-dollar organization.
I mean, it's the motorsports side different than, it's not Penske Corp, but the motorsports side. If you spun off just the IndyCar program,
That's what I'm saying. What? Just the IndyCar.
Justin Marks, the guy that owns Trackhouse Racing, somebody like that possibly could be into it. That would be the first name that would come to me. There are sports car programs that have wanted to get involved that couldn't because there were just not engine leases available. I think there are ownership groups available. But
That would be interesting to see a short list.
Yeah.
I want to see a Roger Pitt. I would love to see, even if he's like, I'm not doing this, I'm not selling this team. I want who's your top three? If you had to speak to three people or three organizations about buying your team, who would those three be?
Hendrick.
Hendrick might not be a bad one, but he's kind of in with Arrow right now. But
Hendrick's
That's
probably
done
the only
after this
one.
year.
Hendrick's probably the only one who could step in and do something like that, because Penske isn't Penske without Roger Penske. And I'm not just saying that because of the name, but because of all the businesses that he owns and B2B partnerships that he brings in to help the day-to-day operation.
Yeah, but
It would take someone with similar reach.
with the financial resources, the network, the understanding of the sport and the business.
The
And
only
also-
person that I can think of that understands the business is President Doug Bowles.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, he
Grew up at a race
he's
team.
been at every level of racing, from damn near Mount Lawn Speedway all the way to IMS, he's the only person that I think would be able to take over such an operation. But
the man is 88. The conversation we're having isn't just the
what happened?
Yeah,
to
there's
Giselle?
that there's some planned. in
There
place.
has. I mean, does he have kids?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Jay
And they-
Penske.
Do they not?
One of them had a race team for a minute.
Yeah, Dragon Speed.
Yeah, they had sweet liveries,
Yeah, they did.
and they ran Seabass.
And he
one year.
married Mellencamp's wife.
Do you really?
So, Bones, has this helped you form an opinion?
Yeah.
Keep it.
Keep it.
Zach.
I do too. I'm really interested to see what they do. I want to see what they do. I don't care. The team's the team. Do whatever. I really want to see what the tech inspection side gets, because ultimately this part was run through inspection over and over and over again. And for some reason, nobody caught it until the Sunday of qualifications this year. And so I'm genuinely curious, somebody probably needs to lose their job, because it's a part that's just listed as a not able to be modified part, and they clearly have modified it. So I think
How many times can you put the same part modified through and it be?
well, that's why I asked him
him.
on the Facebook thing, is how many times can you put an illegal part through inspection? And this, by the way, if people are not familiar, this is not a hidden part. This part hangs off the back of the car all by itself. It's literally like the back bumper of the car.
It's in plain sight.
It is, yes. I didn't go creeping around to find a picture on my phone. I bet most people that were in the paddock and any Joseph Newgarden fan have a picture in the last 2 years that shows this part. How often does it go through before they're not even aware? They don't think it's illegal because techs looked at it and they take the attenuator off the car for part of the tech inspection, because they'll take the wings off and go run them over and check some tests on the thing. So the guys were carrying this thing around by this part. So I don't know.
And it's
So
not just one car. It's
yeah, it
two
was
cars.
two, and probably Scotty Max had that part on it at some point.
3 from time to time.
Three
Yeah.
from time to time.
And
All right.
Voight had some too. That's interesting.
You guys want to talk about your traditions? We don't have to get into it long, because I know the Penske thing took longer than it had to go there, but it took longer than I was planning. And I know some of you have to work tomorrow. Race day traditions, Nick?
Well, since I've been coming in 2019, obviously less the COVID year 2020, race day, I can be found in the snake pit. Roll over about.
How old are you?
Getting a little too old for that, but you know what? My first year there,
I thought he was joking. I thought he was joking.
I actually, my first year there, I met this guy, must have been late 40s, early 50s there. And it's like, man, this is awesome. What are you doing here? Just standing by yourself. It's like, I sat in turn 3 all these years they've been doing this, and I saw it. It looked like fun. I had my kids running around down there, and this is my second year in a row, and I love it. And that is my deal.
Your race morning is in the snake pit
Yeah, till about 11 o'clock, and then roll over to the seats
with
and
people that could be your children, Nick.
Oh gosh, that's terrifying thought at this point. You're not wrong.
So one of the highlights of parking in the infield is watching all the younger folks head north towards the snake pit, and then after the race, see them making their way back.
What's left of them?
What's left of their clothing or shoes or bags, whatever.
Does your personal bodyguard keep you safe during this time?
No, I can leave him at home.
Okay. I didn't know if you brought him with you or the track provided somebody.
He doesn't want
It's a safe place.
He doesn't want to spend the ticket on getting
He's
them in.
cleaning up after making him crepes and
Blake, what's race day for you?
Yeah, this year's a little different, not working again, so I really have no clue. I'm not sitting in my normal spot, not really sure. Probably gonna head over, leave here around 6:30 and go walk around, see the sights.
You're not going to leave until 6:30?
I was going to say, good luck to you if you leave here at 6:30 with a sold out
Where are you
crowd.
parking?
We're gonna find a spot. And we're going.
You're rolling in like
we're
a casual
going as a
fan.
casual fan this year, but we're still gonna walk around, see everything, meet up with him at some point, and just try to enjoy the race.
Are you in a bring a cooler and go have fun, or are you going to go to the concession stand and plan nothing, worry about nothing, just go?
Oh, we're bringing a cooler. Yeah, we'll find a cooler in the garage and stock it full and try to enjoy it. I'm sure I'll be double fisting coolers at one point. But
the lower predicted temperatures tell me that I think the beer to water ratio can be much more beer heavy this year than normal years.
Yeah.
I think we can get more beer into coolers this year than normal.
That means
We're looking like low 60s.
And they don't stop selling
Race
water at 175. So I think
I bet Zach's ratio won't change.
No.
I might throw an extra root beer in there. Might be maybe less ambulances leaving the snake pit, because I watch them file out of there.
yeah, just a casual year this year. Gonna go enjoy it for what it is and pray for no R word.
Okay. Mike, you're there to make money.
No, I'm there to take it in and share it with several thousand people in publications.
So, are you going to do the celebrity shots as well this time?
Well, there are mixed media reports of whether or not the president's coming or not.
I think they've said no.
I
heard
thought
no.
he came out and said no.
I think they did that on purpose.
I certainly hope that it's a no.
Oh, Jer.
You hear it here first.
I certainly hope it's a no.
Well, you'll be sitting up there with him for
Blake's
us.
going to be so far behind in security. He's going to be left 180 before he gets in.
Well, I'm just going to remind you guys of 1992, where I ran out of 17 rolls of film in the first 50 laps because there were so many crashes because it was so cold.
What is film?
Film was what I lived with.
If only you could have been in turn 2 and get Roberto Guerrero spinning.
I know. That was a bad day. but I'm expecting a aggressive and a challenging race. I'm probably going to try to get there between 3:30 and 4. If we do have a presidential appearance, it's going to be ridiculous to try to get your equipment in. So I'm going to be there early. I will go out on the tarmac. I spoke with one of the college program kids that will stay with my equipment down there and at the pit entrance, and hopefully we'll have a good, safe race and get some shots and get home.
Very good. I'm going to arrive at the track in 40 hours, and I'm not leaving. So I'm hoping to beat that traffic. I don't have concierge camper parking like Nick does. Nick orders a Class A and has it delivered.
Yeah, we did the upgrade to a Class A this year. Looking forward to that. Shout out Jonathan for that. Well done, sir.
And I'm not going home till Monday. So if the R word happens, Blake, I'll be okay. I don't have to be me till Tuesday. So it is what it is. I'd really prefer not to have a Tuesday race. As long as we get a Sunday or Monday race in, I'm good. And I've instructed my wife to make sure that we've got enough food that we can get through a late Sunday night race if that happens again too.
Coach Alford will not allow a Monday race for Blake McCown. He has to be on the road.
Mike McCown's making me drive my new car back to Reno, Nevada, so I'm leaving bright and early Monday morning, 30 hours with my sister.
Wait, what did you expect to happen?
Yep.
You think he was going to ship it?
$3,000? No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man up,
Can't do that.
You're a Midwesterner.
He tried to buy a Ferrero for,
I know.
what did you say, $7,000? Don't even try to grab the mic right now. And Blake and Addie McCown don't even care at this
almost
point.
the vice president.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
just because Mike drives cars that might not make it that far doesn't mean
Blake and Addie McCown are driving early Monday morning, so we'll be back in Reno ETA Wednesday.
Jesus Christ.
So Addie's driving back with you and then flying home.
She's been negotiating for the last 3 days snacks and how many nights she gets to stay in the El Dorado Hotel.
Forrest, you'll be fifth and Holman.
Fifth and Holman, yep.
With your staff. Are they going to bring the hot tub for you, or you have to bring your own?
I
Espresso
don't know.
machine. Go
Dude,
with
I've
you.
missed this joke. I don't know what this is about.
The individual to my left just likes to pick on me.
It's because we were talking a couple of times. Things have come up, and it's just apparent to Mr. Bones that Forrest doesn't cut his own grass.
Yeah.
So since I don't cut my own grass,
He doesn't
And
cut his
he
own
has-
grass, clean his own house.
somebody cleans my house, apparently drives me around, cooks me crepes at the race.
Has an espresso machine that's worth a Fiero.
That's not saying much.
It's worth more than scrap.
I know personally that Forrest does whatever his wife tells him to do.
That's right. That's the key to a happy marriage.
And she doesn't want him
Absolutely.
push mowing that yard. All right, so Forrest, that's your race plan. Mr. Bones, you're not going to come to the race this
I'm
year.
not. No.
You were not inspired by qualifying enough
No.
to go buy race tickets.
No. There was enough people there for qualifications that made me happy. Not like overly aggressive.
You were looking forward to 5 to 6 times more people there?
No, thank you.
Race day is a game of survival. It really is.
Yeah.
It's I go because I have to go to the race but my happiest days of the month are the early end of the month. Cart day, I'm going to be pissed off, and by race day, I'll be happy when I'm in my seat.
But race day, though, the
Race
excitement
day is
of
special.
it, the allure, it's nothing that you can just see. It's something that you have to feel to experience it.
It's true. It's moving through that crowd that is just, especially turn 3, because there's a narrow little
Goat path.
that goes back to those grandstands, and it goes over a creek, and it's like traffic merging and everything. It's like an hourglass, and 40,000 people squeezing through that little hourglass drives you insane.
So it's kind of like the opening that they have at the exit of the pits when you can cross the track.
Yeah.
So it's if you get across the track, you're good. If you have to go back up to the tunnel, it's going to be a bad day.
That's exactly right. Zach, your tradition?
I wake up when the cannon goes off, and I go back to bed. And I get up, and then usually I go for a run somewhere around. It's kind of fun to go run around because there's people everywhere. There's also police everywhere. And then we'll probably have to head up to the stands a little earlier this year because of the crowd. But I normally would try to get there after Florence Henderson, but before Beckham again.
Well,
Indiana.
Florence
If
is
you
gonna be
wait
late.
for her, you're not going to see a race.
Florence is going to be late
but
this year.
that
buddy.
was my goal before, so I got there between.
We get
American
2 opera
people.
singers now.
They're better than Florence was. So yeah, and then we get up and fix breakfast, and we do a draw for first, second, first outs. Somebody cuts up the Indianapolis Star to make that up, and we always have like eggs, Spanish eggs, which aren't really Spanish eggs, according to a Spanish person that showed up one year, and then little smokies for breakfast. So
Was that
Can't put 'em on
Force's
6.
chef?
What?
Was that Force's chef that showed up? And said
No,
these are not
no,
eggs?
it was somebody.
No,
no,
Force's chef
it was
Italian.
It was a foreign exchange student. Yeah, it was a foreign exchange student from Spain. And she's like, those aren't Spanish eggs. And we're like, that's fine. We'll call them what we want.
You guys all got a message in the group chat with the odds. You'll want to review those as we move into the next segments. Kyle Larson going to make the 1,100 miles? I guess that's 3 questions in one. Is it going to rain?
Yeah, that's
Is
weather
it-
dependent.
Is he going to finish both races? How's that? Last year it didn't work out. He got to run the Indy 500, and he got to Charlotte just in time for them to get rained out at the end of the night there
by
too,
the same storm.
by the same rain. So, is Larson actually going to get 1,100 miles in?
I say no, but just a rain. I think it just may not even be his fault. But that's a lot of miles to run around a lot of people and not get taken out by something or have a failure.
With Takuma Sato that far up in front, I don't think he's sniffing it.
Takuma finishes a lot of.
I mean, I'm gonna. You know what though?
He also ends quite a few
You know what though? When
For
he-
other people.
for other people.
Yeah, when
so
he-
I think he might be caught
he-
flat.
Anyone who's in turn 1 has got to be really excited.
yeah. When he wrecked though, I was like, this guy is the most unaffected by having to go back up. I was like, Sato, like, what's the matter? You give him any car from any team in the field, and he's in exactly the same place, and he is in the shot at the end of the race so often. So yeah, if he can survive the first 5 laps, then Sato will be around. He's good there. He's so good, Indy.
Nick is Vance. Nick, you are Vance. Larson making 1,100. You think it's going to rain?
I sure hope he does, because this is the end of a 2-year program.
He said it's 15 years before he's coming back. If this doesn't work out, he's done.
It would just be a real shame to see that happen 2 years in a row. Get robbed of getting that double doing the 1,100. The Larson fan in me says yes, but the realist in me says probably not.
Blake, are you wanting to see Kyle Larson or Tony Kanaan run the race?
Mr. Tony Kanaan, preferably.
So you want a 4:30 start?
I mean, not even that. Again leaving at 6:30 the next morning. So
3:30. 3:30.
I got home at like
Yeah.
11 o'clock last year.
Yeah. It was a long day last year. I hoping for everything smooth. I want to see all the festivities and everything. They cut those short last year. So yeah, hoping for it. I don't know. He's not been real stable in the car this far. I think.
Crashed 2 cars so far.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah. And with rain coming through, it's going to be a clean track, and you never know how a guy that's just jumping in for a few weeks in May is going to be able to handle that.
And we don't have any data on the Wienermobile rubber either. We don't know.
That was my.
Yeah,
I was going to bring it up. I was going to bring it up.
Is that a Goodyear compound?
I don't know.
Laying down?
They could be Hoosier tires. I don't know what they run.
That'd
on
be
Wienermobile.
fantastic. Put some Hoosier rubber down.
Anybody else have comments on Larson before we move on?
I don't think he does it.
Yeah. I would not be sad to see Tony Kanaan run the race.
No.
Fuck it, I think he does it. I'll go get the
I think he's a different driver after hitting the wall a couple times.
One would be
A little bit timid.
He doesn't.
Unlike Schwartzman.
Larson doesn't look like his heart's in it nearly as much as it did last year. He
Well,
just
even if
you
it
don't
wasn't,
know
can you
what
tell?
you don't know. Now you know.
I don't think it was. He was one of those guys that kept saying, "Yeah, I'm interested," because people kept asking him, and I think he did a pretty good job last year, and he acted pretty interested, and I think he was pretty impressed by the whole thing. But I think he's here because somebody made the arrangements for him. I don't think he pushed to have this done. So we might be seeing his honesty about how
Jeff
enthused
Gordon
he is.
wanted this to happen.
Yeah,
Well, funny enough, this seat that he has wasn't originally his. Arrow and McLaren were all but signed up with Kyle Busch to run the double.
Thank you, Joe Gibbs.
Yeah,
M&M's was even on board, weren't they?
M&M's was on board. Yeah,
Well, Kurt Busch did a hell of a job.
he sure did.
So
Hey, we got to
So-
see Robbie Gordon and Tony Stewart do it back in the day.
This is the time of the year where we will show where we're going to start to do our predictions as who the dark horse winner or who I think our winner is and who our dark horse is. And this is where Mike tries to convince us that a 4-time champion is a dark horse.
I'm with him. I'm going with that's my pick.
I'm going to say I sent you guys a list, and I'm going to say that anybody in, let's say, not in the top 12 in the betting odds,
So not starting position, betting
in
odds.
the
So-
betting odds.
Here we go.
So where's that line? So say 2000 plus 2,000 and beyond. If you're at plus 2,000 and beyond, those are your dark horse eligible.
So,
Anybody earlier than that, you can have it. So, and you can
Oh.
pick a dark horse as your favorite
So-
if you want to.
That's who Blake was going to go for.
Well, guess what? Plus 2,000 after that. So
Yep.
pick somebody
Ericsson's
else.
13th.
Yeah.
So yeah, your first dark horse eligible is Connor Daly. Nick, I want a winner from you and a dark horse that we should look for as a podium or maybe a surprise winner. Who are you looking at into this race?
So prediction, I
Yep.
think it's hard not to go with Pato. Just looking at these recent years, looking at last year, they are fast. And now not having to contend with, or very unlikely to have to contend with, Joseph Newgarden. I think he's one to keep an eye out on Sunday. Dark horse, Connor Daly.
It's very fair.
I like that.
Connor's car is really, really good in practice on Monday. Blake,
It's hard not to say Pato, but it's also hard not to say a man by the name of Mr. Alex Palou, who is winning everything. So I think he finally gets one, Palou. And then for my dark horse, I'm going to go with Mr. Kirkwood.
we have the same playbook, dude. Mike,
Well, I'm not going with Pato. I'm going with Scott Dixon.
Ooh, the
He's
Iceman.
smooth as anything. He's stayed out of trouble. He's been quiet. He's the Iceman. It's Scott Dixon is my prediction. And I'm going to go.
that would be a record, by the way. I think Montoya was 15 years between wins, and that would be 2000 and 2015, I think, was the two.
Yeah.
And Dixon was 08, so that'd be 17.
Yeah.
That'd be a new gap, all-time gap.
And my dark horse is Siegel.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, I didn't know you knew Nolan
Hey.
Siegel existed.
Let's do this. Let's have you write that down, wad it up in a piece of paper, and throw it in the trash can. Yeah.
He's been extremely smooth. He's not been extremely fast, but he's been extremely smooth.
He threw a fit because somebody passed him in practice. Threw a fit. He's like, what'd that guy do?
I watch him come
And
through
the
turn
audio
four.
was fantastic. I don't have Twitter either at this
Through
point.
turn
It was
four,
Christian
he's
Rasmussen.
smooth.
Yeah, he got really mad at Rasmussen though, but he threw a fit because and he's like, I hate to tell you, buddy, but that's what you're practicing. Passing people. It's a race.
Yeah.
And it looked like I guess that's the new pass. They said the way that the hybrid works, that a lot of passes are gonna be later passes in the turn. But we'll see. He might surprise people, but
He chirped at Marco too.
I'm going to look at this and say Palou is my favorite, and I got him. I bet him at plus 1,200.
Way to go out on a limb.
He's now plus 550 in the odds, but I did get him at a crazy good number to the bettors early on. I'm right there with you, Blake. I was going to say Kirkwood, but since you did, and I want to have some small amount of difference here, Oh God. Santino Ferrucci is looking there pretty decent, but I can't pick Santino. Give me Colton. Give me
Oh,
give
damn
me
it.
Colton.
That's what I was
I
gonna
can't
take.
take the 4 car
I thought we
because
were
he's in
about
the
to-
favorite.
I thought we were about to hear the glass shatter, and out comes Tony Kanaan with that.
No. Malukas is actually so damn. He's a plus 1800. So by the rules we set, he's a favorite, which is an asinine too. But he's a favorite.
I have a comment for the favorites after we're all done here.
Forrest.
So before I make my announcements, I have to go back to a comment that Mike McCown made earlier about I do whatever my wife says. So some family members are listening to this, and I got a text from my wife that said Jeremiah said that he told his wife to make sure that there was enough food in the cooler for Sunday. My text was make sure there's enough food in the cooler for me on Sunday. So my favorite, I like to see Pato win it.
It would be a very popular win.
Yeah.
He would be a great
Yeah.
winner.
If he wins the race, especially after the last few years of heartbreak, it's going to rival Tony Kanaan when he wins 2030.
And I'd love to see him win. And we talk Sato a lot. I wouldn't be surprised to see him hang his third. But I'm going to go with Pato there. My dark horse is Ferrucci. Yeah,
It's been your dark horse for the past 3 years.
I know. I'm trying to get AJ a win.
He's finished top 10 every time. So
He's very good at Indy. Ferrucci is.
But
He was scaring
he was
me last
pissed
year.
last weekend.
No, he was scaring me last year. I was like, oh my God, he might actually do it. And this is going to be a horrible day for motorsports.
Mr. Bones, you see the betting lines. You've heard the names. You've been playing fantasy IndyCar all year long. What do you pick?
I went with the rookie pole sitter.
Jesus Christ.
you know they don't practice pit stops, right?
What?
They don't practice pit stops.
I don't give a shit.
They-
We're not
they-
practicing. Pits don't win you the race.
They'll lead you
You,
there.
you sure lose them.
might not make it.
They make more pit stops in this race than they do anything
Yeah,
else.
they have six pit stops. at
That's
least.
so. I will say that him getting claimed as the in the favorite category because sitting on the pole is unfair to him.
Yeah,
Like that,
it is.
those odds. He should be a dark horse at best.
The fact that he is above Sato and McLaughlin, Newgarden, Rose, I'm like, he's above, well, just the fact he's above Sato and Newgarden is staggering. Because even with Newgarden starting, Newgarden has no business being that high up,
No.
starting in the last row.
So were you saying dumb money's moving this down then?
Yes,
Okay.
dumb money is where
Well, I'm going to go with fucking dumb money.
So you're going Schwartzman as your
Yep.
winner. Who's your last hope for a dark horse winner?
So we can't pick somebody to get like number 5.
For what we're doing today, I want your winners. So your dark horse winner.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm
It's
saying
in horse racing.
I can't pick Helio to get number 5.
I mean,
He's down there. He's at 3+3.
yeah, you could.
He would be a
You
dark
can
horse.
do that.
I was gonna call you
I got
Mike.
persecuted for it.
He picks the number 4
Evidently, I'm
win.
getting persecuted for taking the rookie. So I'm
Well, yeah.
Yep.
Dumb money.
You're going to take like the
We're
young,
just trying to keep you from touching the hot stove, buddy.
well, fuck it, I'm going to go with Ray Hall.
Oh, God. Shit. All
How
right.
about the other way there?
Yeah.
That dumb money just got real dumb.
Yeah, I'm not sure which.
You'd have a better chance with Stingray, Rob,
You have a better chance with Abel.
or Marco.
What happens if we go next week and I win?
I hope you bet it. I hope you made the bet. I hope.
Nobody who's ever picked the winner has ever gotten anything.
if,
So.
if
I
Ray-
want.
Oh,
if-
this one would
if
take
Graham
bragging.
Rahal
I want
won
some-
the 500, that would somehow beat Schwartzman as being the biggest. Because somebody described it, and I don't disagree with this, that Schwartzman winning the pole was one of the greatest upsets in Indy 500 history, and I can't actually dispute that because multiple fact. If Graham Rahal won that race, that would be right there with it.
Kyle Kaiser knocking out Fernando Alonso.
You know what though? But
That
you
was
hear
fantastic.
about all
That
the
was all
comedy.
part of it.
Dan Weldon beating Hildebrand.
Hildebrand hit the wall.
Hildebrand, turn
Okay,
4,
for-
Wall beat Hildebrand.
Yeah,
Oh.
and honestly, you look at that entry, and in hindsight, being a little bit 2020, he had Weldon had one of the greatest strategists in Indy 500. Like Brian Herta is a masterful. Like he's at least 2 500s that he kind of talked people through, and that's one of them. But the whole Prema thing is still like you look at that, and they had no business. They've been like 23rd, 24th all year, and they put it on the pole and they fired, or there was
a separation.
Employment ended with an engineer who would have been the guy. I don't know if they got some info out of him before he left or whatever, but Schwartzman going out there in the same conditions and beating both Ganassi cars or in Fast Sixes, yeah, that's a pretty impressive feat. He's never done an oval before.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that, but I mean,
Kyle
Kaiser put
in this group, I am bragging about it. Okay,
I feel you. All the power to you on that one.
In name, that was a pretty good upset until you look into the details of how many ways.
Yeah, McLaren had it set to a kilometer an hour, but other than that,
no kilometer an hour. They were using like metric on setting the car up. They set it back because it was the wrong color orange. Like they messed themselves over.
Zach, who's your favorite?
Favorite man? I was just looking.
I don't want to argue about color.
Yeah, because I'm between Rossi and Rosenquist. They're pretty similar in the stats. I'd love either one of those guys to win. So I'd probably pick Rossi because I think when push comes to shove, last 5-10 laps, he's got it to win it. And Rosenquist, I'm not sure he would quite be there. And Dark Horse, somebody already took it, but I'm going to take it anyway. Colton Herta, I think, is like he wrecked. He got out, cleared in the car a couple hours later, did not care. He's like, and I guess he said in an interview, I'm not scared of this track. And if you look at a video, who would not be scared? He was upside down with sparks flying in the cabin. But I think that they'll do better than people think.
If an Andretti has to win, my heart is with Kirkwood. It's not with Herta.
I like Colton.
It's not with Marco?
I love Colton. Colton's my favorite. I just don't think from 27.
I think Colton's
that's
issue is a lot of people.
That's a long road home.
Yeah, a lot of people put stuff on Colton.
My point that I wanted to bring up was Joseph Newgarden has better betting odds than Marcus Ericsson does.
Oh, you know what? Great.
I mean, you can keep that, but I mean,
Marcus almost didn't count to 4 last year and didn't make the race for it. He did. It happened. I laughed hard at that. I'm not.
He also crashed in front of me.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Marcus.
He also is a race winner starting not from 32nd in the field.
Yeah.
Is my whole thing on that one.
This is the point in the show, Nick, where we do final thoughts. We clean up anything we forgot. We plug things that we need to plug. You got anything for us as we work our way off the air?
Any of you listeners out there who are on Facebook and not already a member of Elite IndyCar, I invite you to come join.
You got to answer
You have to answer the questions.
Oh, you got to answer the questions.
There are strict rules and guidelines.
Well, favorite driver, favorite track, and do you agree to follow the rules, which are pretty easy. Just be nice.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, thank you. Don't be a dick. And special shout out and thank you to Don Cusick and his team over at Cusick Motorsports for everything they've done and continue to do for us and Elite IndyCar and IndyCar Series.
Very good. Blake, final thoughts?
Go Wolfpack.
You're paid to say that. Do you get NIL money in your job?
No, but I can talk to some people if we want to put your logo on a T-shirt.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we've been on some ARCA cars. That's about as far as this logo has gone. Mike?
Well, for the first time, I'm going to be serious. I have to give a shout out to one of my teammates at the FC Tucker office, DJ Shoemaker, who was the choir teacher at our high school, also a real estate companion of mine, who went and won a state championship, dropped, went into convulsions, and had a massive brain aneurysm. And he has been fighting for his life and is walking around and talking. And his whole goal from the time he came out of the coma was to get to go to the Indianapolis 500. And I'm happy to say that the McCown team bought him a couple paddock penthouse seats.
Oh, heck yeah.
And
Come to the
DJ
race, huh?
is going to get to come to the race. And that's what
awesome.
this race is truly about.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. His incident was back in March or or April, right?
March, yeah.
Yeah, March. Yeah, that's awesome.
Coma for 6 weeks, and now I was walking around happy, called me on the way, gets to go to the 500.
That's great.
And the second thing is that I got a thing from Dr. Phyllis Grant, who's 98 years old and is going to the race again this year. And Fox 59 is coming Thursday to pay her a visit on the 70 plus years that she's been at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So there's some pretty good stories from Newcastle and Henry County that are wrapped around the race, and we're just happy to be part of them.
That's fun. It's the traditions of the Speedway are all over the state, right? We've got a lot of Henry County connections. The Borg Warner wreath gets done by folks right here in Daleville, I think, just up the road from us. So, final thoughts, Zach?
Nope, I'm looking forward to it. I'll believe the forecast when we get to the day. It's already kind of up and down, but at least it doesn't look hot. Forrest and I sat in the stands on Friday and roasted.
It was sweltering.
And then we had the most Midwestern weather change ever. Storms blew through. Thankfully, skipped over Speedway for the most part. And the next day, woke up and I spent the entire day in a long sleeve shirt and a hoodie after having roasted and got a sunburn the day before. So just looking for nice, cool weather in a good race. And I hope that the confirmed that I have nothing. I'm not going to say I don't dislike the president necessarily, and that's not the reason why, but I hope he doesn't show up to the race because he'll make getting in and out a nightmare. And a sold-out race is going to be a nightmare to get in and out of anyway. So
I don't think we're going to notice the difference. Not the president, but the sold out, whether they sold 10,000 more tickets or not.
I don't know. 2016 was way different.
Yeah. 16 felt packed, but they haven't said, hey, the infield sold out. Like
he still says
we're not that bad.
And they officially, they announced it. Pseudo announced it over the weekend. Said we're lifting the blackout, but I think they were less than 1,000 seats. And then today they officially announced that everyone. I hope that whoever bought the last one, got told, you just bought the last ticket.
It better be like a golden ticket.
Yes. Yeah.
Doug Bull should hand deliver that.
To add on to the blackout, do you guys think it had any regards to the Pacer game?
So I think they wanted to get ahead of it so that people would know that
because that would kill the ratings on TV for IndyCar.
Yeah.
And with it being the first year of Fox, that was where my degree in sport management from Miami University really came into hand on that.
Oh, you
one.
went to Miami?
Yes, sir.
Very cool.
I did have the same thought as you when they knew it was going to be a road playoff game that was going to be that night.
It's
very
it's
similar.
home.
It's home.
We're in Indy.
The home playoff game. It was pretty apparent that they were going to need to do that to have hope of the rating being solid. And it'll still count if you go home and watch the race. But
they're still doing the rebroadcast later.
They are going to do the rebroadcast. But you're going to have a huge.
That would have been the biggest rival that we have seen to that in a long time.
Yeah, you thought the Masters in Long Beach was a problem.
Yeah.
Mr. Bones, final thoughts?
I just want to thank Jeremiah for giving me a grand tour of the racetrack on Sunday. He took me to the garage and saw the ins and outs of the racetrack. It was pretty cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to touch an attenuator. It was great.
Yes. There was a little gap on that one. It was weird.
Notice the little things.
Yeah.
Forrest?
Looking forward to number 34 for me. 34 in a
Officially
row.
been bumped.
Including the COVID year where we stood outside and watched it. Yeah. Yeah.
The COVID year, I have an excuse note from Doug Bowles, but I was at my pool. We watched it on TV outside. It was I had 2 sets of tickets that year and didn't get to use either of them. Yeah. Excited for the race. Looking forward to it. Our show next week is back on a Thursday, believe it or not.
What?
And we've got, we're going to class it up a little bit. Got Senator Jeff Rotz and Representative Corey Criswell are joining us. So,
I'm out then.
I'm going to ask a random question because I was just on social media. Did anybody watch because I saw a thing where IndyCar just posted that Dale Coyne's been repeatedly pushing for guaranteed Indy 500 spots. And that's a statement by Doug Bowles.
Yeah, he did say in the press conference that
I wonder if that was
he was asking for it.
Right.
And the answer is no. 34 fastest, 33 fastest.
Okay.
If they had gone to 34 cars this year, I wouldn't have thrown a fit. They've done it twice before, by the way. I'll leave it with that.
honestly it's not actually, if you look at the history of it, it's not one of those super hardcore traditions. That's like
They've started 40 cars before.
Yeah, that's like a newish in the span of 10 years. Yeah.
This would have been one where you could have explained it away and said, hey, this technical thing happened. We're not going to throw out 2 formal winners. Those cars were probably okay, but they were technically wrong. We're going to let the car that was technically wrong into the race. Because right now they've got 2 cars that were illegal on Saturday, probably, and one that was legal, and the car that was legal is going home.
And it's got a great livery that deserves to be in the race.
Yeah.
Yes,
That Miller
it did,
High Life
yes.
car is
the
amazing.
champagne of beers.
All that said, it is what it is. I'm not going to fight that fight because Jacob Fable said, I don't want to get in on a technicality, and I respect that. So that's more power to him.
He's not the first rookie who hasn't made the field.
Next, Pato Ward missed the race his first time. He was named a favorite in here many times, and last year Nolan Siegel missed the race as a rookie, and Mike thinks he's going to win. So anything can happen.
So next year, Mike McCown's prediction.
Jacob Abel.
All on Jacob Abel train, baby.
All in. Give me that.
We'll see you guys next Thursday.